What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, and I'm here to watch a video called 8 Creepy Fairy Myths. This video was done by the Crypto Queen. I've always been really interested in like the Celtic tradition of fairies, the Irish tradition. European fairies are honestly a lot more interesting than like the Disney version of fairies. Like I like the dark, you know, the dark fairy tales, so I'm pretty excited about this. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope like your mom got that promotion she wanted, and I hope your dog is okay, and I hope you get that snake you've always wanted to own, because Chavez is gonna get me a snake soon.
That's never gonna happen. Ever. They're gross and they smell bad.
They don't even smell bad, and they're so cute, and they're soft.
What the hell are you talking about?
They're soft and smooth, and you can give them little nose boops.
We're definitely not talking about the same animal.
Snakes are so cute. But anyway, yeah, so here to watch this video, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I think I'm going to. Let's do it.
We often picture fairies as mystical little human-like beings that go around granting wishes out of the kindness of their hearts. You know, the classics. Peter Pan's Tinkerbell, Cinderella's fairy godmother. However, fairy kind isn't limited to these stereotypes. Various cultural folklore depicted fairies so vicious and frightening that they could make your own godmother cry.
Yeah,
Number 8,
godmother.
Bendith y Mamau. These are a nasty clan of Welsh fairies. They kidnapped children and substituted them for their own ugly ones, called crimbles. This led to mothers being especially careful with their infants for fear of having their children stolen away. It is said sometimes the child would be returned to the parents after the fairy blessed it with the gift of music and song, but usually the parents would have to hire a witch to rescue their child. To calm these fairies, people left them milk outside their homes and spoke their names in reverse. Number 7, the Fay-chan. This fairy comes from Scottish tales, but you'd think they were talking about monsters instead. These creatures appeared so monstrously hideous that the mere sight of them could stop a man's heart. The Fay-chan were covered head to toe in fur and possessed singular body parts, one eye, one hand, one leg, stuff like that, which were placed center line across their bodies. Unlike other fairies, the Fay-chan could not fly, despite having a mane of black feathers. It hates birds because it's jealous of their gift of flight. In fact, it hates all living creatures, but birds are its pet hate. Prone to violence and highly territorial,
That's a cyclops.
They also always carried a spiked club or chain that they used against people who dared to trespass into their lands. This is definitely not a fairy character you should show to your kids at night. Number 6. Berberoka. In the Philippines, yet again, you don't have your typical flying fairy. This one lived in swamps and rivers and was considered to be a very dangerous race
like a siren.
They preyed primarily on the fishermen who frequented these bodies of water. They caught their victims with a simple, yet very effective trap. The Berberoka ingested all the water in a specific area, which made all the fish visible. Naturally, this attracted the attention of the unsuspecting fishermen, who would rush off to that area. As soon as their victims reached the spot, the Berberoka spewed out the ingested water and capsized their boats. They then dragged the hapless fishermen underwater, where they ate them in unceremonious fashion. Number 5. The Banshee. In Irish folklore, the Banshee is a female wraith or spirit whose presence foretells the death of a person in the household. This Banshee was tied to a person or a family, sort of like an attendant fairy. In modern times, it's still believed that the mournful cry of the Banshee can still be heard. It's considered to be a death omen. Those who hear it will know someone who will die the following night. Seldom seen, the Banshee was sometimes seen as a young, fair woman with long, unbound hair and a gray cloak over a green dress. And because of her continuous weeping, her eyes always were sort of red in color. Number 4, the Storm Hag. The Storm Hag was a fairy that lived in Lake Erie and was believed to be responsible for many shipwrecks in that area. Her fingernails contained a powerful, paralyzing poison that incapacitated any victims she caught. Before she attacked a ship, the Storm Hag would sing an eerie song that foretold the doom of the men on board. Then she would summon a terrible storm upon the helpless men. As if that wasn't enough, the storm hag also rode on the waves and captured the sailors with her elongated arms.
Goddamn,
In other
girl.
variations, she would wait for the storm to pass and suddenly spew out lightning and winds at the ship to sink it. Number 3,
Jesus.
the Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy is a fantasy figure of early childhood, and unlike the others, it's not intended to be frightening at all. The folklore states that when children lose one of their baby teeth, they should place it underneath their pillow, and the Tooth Fairy will visit when they sleep, replacing the lost tooth with a small payment. Every recorded human culture has some kind of tradition surrounding the disposal of a child's lost baby teeth. In the 1960s, it became a custom in some parts of the world for parents to slip a gift or some kind of money from the Tooth Fairy under the child's pillow. Belief in the Tooth Fairy is viewed in two very different ways. On the one hand, a child believing is seen as part of the trusting nature of childhood. No one really knows what these tooth fairies look like, but many children would describe them as small female fairies that are swift and fast. Perhaps all it takes is imagination to see one of these magical little things. Number 2. Leprechauns. Typically not thought of as a fairy, leprechauns are a type of fairy in Irish folklore. Leprechauns are often described as aged, bearded old men dressed in green and wearing buckled shoes, often with a leather apron. However, leprechauns weren't always dressed in green. Early tales of the creatures reported red clothing instead. Indeed, though leprechauns are often associated with riches and gold, in folklore, their main talent is anything but glamorous. They are cobblers, also known as shoemakers. Shoemaking is apparently a lucrative business in the fairy world, since each leprechaun is said to have his own pot of gold, which can often be found at the end of a rainbow. According to Irish legends, people lucky enough to find a leprechaun and capture him can barter his freedom for his treasure. Leprechauns are usually said to be able to grant the person 3 wishes as well. But dealing with leprechauns can be a very tricky proposition.
Bitch, don't do it.
As the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. Number 1, the Earl King. Earl King is a name from Danish and German folklore for the figure of a spirit, or the king of the fairies. It is said that this fairy preys and feeds on small children. It personifies death as a danger above all to the young, who are credited with a more intense perception of the other world in the first place. This intimacy with the supernatural makes them vulnerable to his charms and his desires.
Poor babies.
Fear is a child's worst nightmare, and parents often warn their young to not stay out after sunset. The Earl King holds dominion over the spirits of fallen hunters, the energy of the hunt, excitement, hunger, and bloodlust. The Earl King is devious, cunning, strong, and swift, cutting him out to be one badass fairy that you never want to mess with.
Kind of sounds like a daddy, but alright. Alright guys, well I really enjoyed that video. Not really quite sure where the Tooth Fairy was in there, but like, I mean, I think like the entire concept of the Tooth Fairy is kind of weird. Like you're inviting the fae into your home, which I feel like you're not ever supposed to fucking do. But there's some pretty good things in there. There's some stuff in there that I didn't really know about. I really like that she used like the Filipino version of like a siren. She didn't just go with the typical, you know, siren thing. But yeah, I think that was really fun. That was a really good video. I had a good time with that. I should watch more videos like that. Like, I'm such a fucking nerd. Like, I love this shit. Like, what is wrong? Like, what is up with me? But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Link to the videos is going to be posted down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. But I know you did, because you're a good hoe biscuit. You're the best hoe biscuit. You're the most wonderful hoe biscuit that ever existed. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Like, you can't, yeah. You. I'm talking to you. Anyway, guys, have a great day, night, time. Y'all know what I mean. Stop.